What is up there everybody, Citrus Aviation here with yet another video, and today we have the NG model September 2020 predictions video. So if you guys saw my last one, which was for the July releases, I successfully predicted the Spirit A321 and the two Royal New Zealand Air Force 757s in the regular livery and in the 75th anniversary livery. Now, these prediction videos I do totally without hints, other than maybe some information I might hear or some things I'm able to look up and find out. So, NG Models has not released their hints at the time that I'm recording this video. So I'm just doing this, taking what some might call wild guesses, but these are what I call educated guesses, based off of what they released previously, trends, predictions, little leaks I've heard here and there, and things like that. So, we're going to get started here with the very first hint that I think will be coming out. So we'll start going through the aircraft. I usually do these in the order of which they release them on the website. So yeah, we'll do that, and we'll get started right here with this United States Air Force 2 Boeing 737-200. This is the aircraft that is commonly used by high-ranking executive officers of the United States of America. These can be military officers, these can be people like the Vice President, of which that aircraft will have the call sign Air Force 2. It could be many other aircraft. So, this is a really important aircraft for the United States. It's a really interesting aircraft. This aircraft is considered to be a C-32A by the United States Air Force because they have military designations of every single aircraft they have. The one that's shown here is registered as 09-0017. There are about 30 of these in the United States Air Force fleet. Fairly common aircraft. It'd be really interesting to see all those antennas and boxes and such. I would pick this model up, as I recently saw one at Des Moines with Vice President Mike Pence on board. So yes, I'd really like to see one of these. And yeah, they are very well maintained, as you can see from this picture. They regularly clean them, keep them up in excellent maintenance condition and such. So this would be a really cool aircraft. And I do think NG Models is going to make them, as they've made a lot of 75s at this point. So at this point you can really narrow down to what they'll make next, but I think this is going to be one of the aircraft that's coming. The next aircraft that I think that they'll make is a slight shot in the dark, but they haven't made this yet, and really we have not seen one of these in a while. It's an Uzbek Air 757-200, and I would get this model, if for nothing else, just for the meme to have Uzbekistan Airways flying to Burlington, Central Carolina. Yeah, this airline is not known as a great airline, so you can see from this picture they do not maintain their aircraft. They don't have the greatest safety record. Their service is okay. So yeah, this will be an interesting aircraft to get. I would just get them all just because it'd be hilarious to have an Uzbek AL757 flying in, so we can have service to Tashkent. Yes, I know that's not the official name of the city. I believe the city is called Tashkent, but I like to call it Tashkent, and I've heard stories of people flown through the airport. It's apparently not that great, but you know, it'd be funny just to have the model. The next prediction, this is one that's been heavily requested by people for NG Models to make, and I think they will make this. This is a Copa Airlines 737-8V3. It is for Copa Airlines, and this is one of the more requested aircraft as of late, and I do think they will get around to doing this one. Maybe they'll do it in September, but that's just my prediction for this video. Next up, this is an aircraft that apparently NG Models had said they will be making, and they'll be making soon. This is the Southwest Heart 2 aircraft. This was the second 737 delivered to Southwest in the brand new livery. And so they called the very first one, they called it Heart 1, and the second one, they called it Heart 2. This aircraft wears the registration of November 8645 Alpha. So yeah, this is also another aircraft that NG would make because nobody has made it yet. German Jets made the Heart 1 for December 2015 release, and since then, no one's made the Heart 2, and so I think NG Models will jump on that chance to make it. Alright, next up we move to the A321s. And this is an aircraft NG Models had said that they will be making. It is the A321 thank you livery, and they recently posted a picture. They wanted to know some information around the SkyTeam logo. Apparently there's some writing up there, and so they wanted to know what that says. They posted a picture of it, which shows that it is the thank you aircraft. So they will be making that soon. which probably means it'll be probably coming out this month. I think it is a really good chance that. So this is November 391 Delta November, and yeah, they will make this one. It would be a great model. I'll definitely pick it up. And usually when they do a special livery for an airline, they will coincide that with a regular livery for that airline. And so I think they will make a regular livery Delta A321. They now have the CFM mold, as they recently sold with the Jet 2 Holidays A321 they made. So I think they'll make this one. This one is registered as 393 Delta November. They could do pretty much any of the nearly 100 A321s that Delta has. Delta will eventually get 100, but they are currently like 1 or 2 short from getting all of them. But anyway, really cool to see that these A321s will be made. I'm pretty confident they will make them. And they have had a tendency to make a regular and a special side by side, like for example those Royal New Zealand Air Force 757s. They also did that with the Wizz Air A321s. You can just go on with the list of which they do doubles, Bamboo Airways 787s for example. So I think they will do this. I think it's a really good chance both these models come out this month. So yeah, stay tuned for that. If you really want to get these, save up your money, because this could end up, if this ends up being the month I think it is, it'll end up being a really expensive month for us North American collectors. But anyway, next up we have the A350. This is a brand new mold for engine models that is rumored to come out this month for September. So I was going back and thinking, what one A350 will they make? Because usually engine models that first release of a new mold, they just make one aircraft, sometimes two, but usually one. And they tend to do an iconic aircraft that there's lots of photos and reference photos that they can usually use. So I looked and I was like, well, what more A350 is iconic than the Qatar Airways A350? They are one of the largest operators of these. They have 34 in their fleet. And so I think they'll do Qatar A350. There are a couple others they could do. They could do a Singapore A350. There are a lot of those as well. They could do a Airbus House Colors A350 in either the house or the carbon fiber livery. Or I thought they might do a Lufthansa one. But I'm just going to put my money on Qatar Airways is the one they're going to do first. And as I mentioned before, usually the month after they do the first release, they do several others. So September will be the second month of the 747 SP mold, and I think they will want to capitalize on this mold. So I was just thinking, well, what 747 SPs might they do? And I'm going to say 5 that I think they might do. I think they'll end up doing 1 or 2 of these this month. They'll probably do 2, but they're going to be selected from these 5. I'm very confident on that. The very first one here is a Pan Am 747 SP. This is probably one of the most iconic ones of all the 747 SPs, is Pan Am. So I'm pretty confident they will do that this month. And then next up is the American in the, I believe this is the luxury liner 747 SP. I believe this aircraft was purchased for American solely for the Dallas-Fort Worth to Tokyo Narita route. And it's because the aircraft at the time didn't really have the range, and then the 747 SP came around and it allowed for really long range flight. The 747 SP is one of the first ultra long range wide body aircraft to ever come out. And so a lot of airlines bought these for really long range flights. And so American is one of them. They're one of the more iconic 747 SP operators. And yeah, I think NG will make this one. I don't know if they'll do it this month or not, but this is one of the ones they could do. Next up, we have the Royal Omani Flight Aircraft. This is a very unique 747 SP. There are plenty of reference photos available, so NG can make this quite accurately. And it's a unique aircraft because it's essentially the Oman Air Force version of Air Force One. This is used by their leader. And it's a really interesting aircraft, and I think it would make a really interesting model. And it's one I would consider getting because it's really cool. You see these at the UN days in New York and Washington Dulles. So it's been a really interesting aircraft. I think they will make this very early on. I don't know if they'll make it this month or not, but there's a good chance. Next up, another aircraft they will probably make for the 747 SP very early on is the Iran Air 747 SP. Plenty of reference images for this one. These aircraft were flying up until very recently. I believe they were recently retired and replaced with A330s. But yeah, an Iran Air A350, not A350, Iran Air A747 SP. Definitely in the works. I think this will come out very early. And then the final one, I think they'll make very early on. These are the 5 that I think they'll select from to make for the release this month. is the Qantas 747 SP. This is another very iconic 747 SP operator, and this is one I think they'll make. These were regularly used on the Sydney to Singapore route, and this picture here is taken at Singapore in 1999. Really cool aircraft. I think there's a good chance to make the Qantas 747 SP be a really nice model. So yeah, those are the 5 747 SPs I think they'll pick from. I think if I had to guess which ones they'll make right now, I think they'll do a Pan Am 747 SP, and I think they'll do either the American or the Iran Air, but they could do any of these 5. So yeah, that's my guesses there. I would love to see what you guys think in the comments below. But yeah, we have the next aircraft type, A330s. I just know of one that I think they're going to make this month, and this one is pretty much a certain guarantee. This is the new, essentially, Royal Air Force 1. This is an A330 MRTT that has been painted in a new official United Kingdom government paint scheme. This aircraft registered Zulu 336, that's 2 Z's, or Z as you English people would call it. But this is a really nice livery. I really like the fact they made it, that they now have an interesting paint scheme for the Queen or the Prime Minister to fly on. So I really like this one. So yeah, this will be a great aircraft. NG already said they will release it, so I think this month will be the month they announce it. Next up, we move to the 1 to 200 scale models, and this one is one I have good authority on that they will be making this month. NG Models recently posted a picture of this aircraft on their Instagram. They only showed part of it near the tail section here, because you see some writing there just underneath that light blue line, and it's like some writing that Dassault puts on the tails of the aircraft, and they were wondering what exactly it said. So that pretty much told me, well, they're going to make this aircraft. So in the picture, they only showed part of the registration was Charlie Mike Charlie. So my initial thinking was, well, that looks like Chinese aircraft. So I put Bravo Dash Charlie Mike Charlie. There is no aircraft at registration, so I took a closer look at the flag, and I saw that is a Turkish flag. So I put in Tango Charlie Dash Charlie Mike Charlie, and this exact picture that NG Models used on that post popped up. So I'm like, this is the aircraft they're going to make. It is used by the Turkish government to fly officials from one place to another. You will often see this aircraft show up at the United Nations Days. Once again, this will be a nice aircraft to see. I really like that NG Models is doing Dassault Falcons. You might notice they aren't exactly doing privately owned Falcons and Gulfstreams, and I think that's because they could get sued by the owners. They need official owners' permission and licensing to use that, so they're using more like government and corporate jets because those don't necessarily need as much permission to use. Next up, and speaking of Gulfstreams, we have my Gulfstream guest. Usually when they do a Falcon, they also do a Gulfstream in the same release. So I think there's one of 2 or maybe both that they will make. And I think they'll make one or both of the other 2 Nike G550s. So this one here that you're seeing first is November 1972 November. It is the Nike Gulfstream G550 that is in the orange paint scheme. Now this aircraft was recently replaced with a brand new G650, which is in an even more stunning new orange livery. But this one, such a nice livery. I really like this one quite a bit. And this will be a nice model. I would pre-order it right away. I would really want it. But the one I think that is more likely they'll make is this one. This is the like blue and black one. And this one is registered as November 3546. And it is their other Gulfstream G550 they have. So they have, from my understanding, 2 G550s and a G650 in their fleet. So yes, Nike is a very rich company, in case you couldn't tell by their Gulfstream fleet. But yeah, this would be a really cool aircraft as well. Another one that I would order on pre-order right away. It'd be a really nice model, and I think it'd be super nice in the collection. I really like the fact that NG is making 1 to 200 scale private jets, and I wish them the best of it. So yeah, these are my predictions for September 2020. What are yours? Put them in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Tell me how wrong you think I am with these predictions, or maybe if I'm correct, tell me how right you think I am with them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's hope these releases do happen. I have it on good authority that some of these are going to happen. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.